People who are stopped at a red light for 1 minute but creep forward a few feet every 10 seconds. Why? To wait faster. Epping hell, that's a great answers. Yes, may I have one great answers? Are you sure you don't want 2 great answers? LOL, the only right answer. This is the correct answer. LOL. The radio station I like is 60 miles away. Sometimes when I stop it's stuck on static. I have to creep forward to find it again. Legit the only reason I'll creep, and I still hate doing that. Or some big ass dump truck has stopped besides me and F the radio signal, so I have to creep to find it. I take that back. I'll also creep to stay in the shadow of a big ass truck so the sun doesn't shine on my eyes. I have a buddy who does this creeping, so I decided to ask him. He said that he was under the impression that certain lights have pads in the ground that detect weight to determine when someone is actually there, so it can prioritize changing the light, and that he does it to try and make the light change faster. Most/all sensors are not weight but induction loops, so simply detect the presence of cars above using magnetism, as all vehicles are metal. You can see the lines on the road where they are embedded, and are sometimes too narrow for a car's wheels to be on, hence why they're not weight sensors. Damn, I had no idea. Thanks for teaching me something new today, kind stranger. Wow, an actual reason. It's like pressing the button harder for a more powerful attack. Yeah, but that is how you get more powerful attack, isn't it? I can neither confirm nor deny. Next you're going to tell me tilting my controller doesn't help my steer better, and leaning in my chair doesn't help me see around obstacles either. Tilting my controller doesn't help my steer better. Honestly, the most satisfying thing about motion controls in more recent Nintendo games. It's so much fun to be playing a Mario game, shake your controller for emphasis, and it actually does something. The PS3 had analog face buttons, so that was actually a thing in some games. They probably did away with it because of how obtuse of a control scheme it could lead to. The flute puzzle in Star Ocean 3 was an absolute nightmare. I didn't know about the press depth on the PS2 controller until I played Star Ocean 3, so that flute puzzle was the bane of my existence for a couple of hours. I think some old school game facts finally revealed the soft/hard press. I just want to run over the guy who stopped me. Since robots can't identify stop signs or traffic lights in CAPTCHA images, maybe self-driving cars aren't such a good idea. What do you think the purpose of these CAPTCHA images are? They're for training the AI so it will be able to identify those signs. I've noticed Google Maps has actually been adding traffic light locations. I assume the same will happen for the sidewalks too. They were originally to stop bots from accessing certain websites. Then someone realized they could redeem the time wasted by having humans teach AI what a boat/car/wheel looks like. Click on all motorcycles picture of a moped. Refreshes entire site. That's why I always deliberately sneak in some wrong squares. Fool. They will not be deceived. Your trickery only strengthens them. I'm more curious about people who charge up to stop sign or traffic light intersections at apparently full speed, and slam on the brakes with half the front of their car in the intersection and then look at the rest of traffic like they are surprised other people are on the road. I find a little joy when people race past me toward a red light, as I gradually reduce my speed. Then, when the light turns green, I'm cruising right past them comfortably as they floor it from a dead stop. Chances are that they'll do everything they can to pass me again, but the same thing can happen over and over again passing through some towns. Either way, that sort of herky-jerky going just seems like a stressful way to drive. Probably not too much, but after a while, it probably adds up in wear and tear too. As someone that's mostly driven older cars, I'm never not paranoid about my brakes. I keep them in good condition, but you never know. Are we talking drum brakes kind of old? Not quite that old, but my current car is a 2000 and it's the newest I've owned. I'm probably due for an upgrade once the pandemic is over, but I've driven literally less than 10 times in the past 12 months, not counting efforts to make sure the car stays in shape. Same year as my Commodore, and me coincidentally, Currently clocked in at a little over 300,000 kilometers, and it's just a perpetual race to fix whatever new issue pops up before the thing falls apart. Frankly though, for its age and kilometers, I've grown to love the Buick 3800. It's a piss-easy engine to work on, so almost nothing is beyond a 30-minute job to repair, which is great for a first car, and unfortunately it's the chassis and the rest of the thing that's been a constant list of issues. If I wasn't living on what a 20-year-old makes, was older and needed a more reliable daily, I think a newer car would be worth the investment long-term, definitely. Frankly though, at this age all I'm dreaming about for my next car is something with pop-up headlights and a sunroof, probably a late 80s to 90s Japanese MK3 Supra or an MR2 SW20 perhaps. My grandpa's a retired electrician who put times lights throughout San Francisco, and on Highway 1 he always drives exactly 23 miles per hour and hits every green light, while people in Mustangs, BMWs, etc. will speed by us only to get passed again at the green light. Nice. A like-minded fella did this in my hometown. At Newburgh, Oregon residents, just maintain 18 miles per hour on Main/Hancock streets downtown. Actually, I think all the locals know this already, so more and for your information for passers through. That's how it is through my town's downtown area. If you can maintain 23 miles per hour, you won't have to touch your brakes the entire way through. I always wonder how fast they burn through their brakes. I know a moron that replaces his brakes every 6 months and thinks that's normal. Holy crap. I can't remember the last time I had to replace my brakes. When are you supposed to replace them? I got my car about 3 years ago and never saw a need to replace them. I'm sort of new to car ownership, so I'm not really sure about things, lol. It's more about mileage than years, and then it depends on how you drive and the type of brakes, etc. But, for example, I have a small car that I drive fairly badly and I needed to replace the brakes after about 80k miles. Brakes don't have an expiration date so much as a finite amount of pad. As you use them, the pads slowly grind away. If you're always charging at full speed and then slamming the brakes, you are going to wear through them a lot faster. Pretty much all brakes have a harder metal filament in them that will be exposed once they are worn to a critical level where you need to replace them. When the filament scratches against the brake plate, it makes a loud screeching sound. Your brakes might sometimes screech for other reasons though, like rust buildup from sitting for too long. The easiest way to tell without pulling them off is to drive around for a bit. If they consistently screech after several stops, no matter how hard you brake, they're on their last legs and need replaced ASAP. I got over 100,000 miles on my first set. And even when I replaced them, they could have gone a bit longer. Depends on the brakes. The ceramic ones last a whole lot longer than the cheap ones. Although you probably shouldn't go for cheap with brakes and tires. My route has a terrible "if you miss one, you miss them all" design when following the speed limit. There's a road in my city where if you accelerate briskly and maintain the speed limit, you will hit every green light for a couple of kilometers. Problem is, nobody goes the speed limit down that stretch of the road. As a pedestrian, I loathe those people. It's like, gee, thanks for blocking the entire crosswalk because your dumbass can't be bothered to stop in time when you clearly saw it was a yellow or red light and you had nowhere to go. And then they, the driver, have the audacity to do that hands in the air oopsie gesture to pedestrians or turn their head to avoid our gaze and tell us we'll have to wait for the next light or go around their car. F those people. Share the road space and don't block pedestrian crosswalks. One time I was going to cross the street because the pedestrian walking signal was on, but then this butthole decided to creep forward in his car while I was crossing. Luckily I hadn't passed in front of his car yet, but WTF? Someone did that to me when I was right in front of him. I banged on his hood. Woke him right the hell up. Also annoying when you're trying to turn right on red and the car to the left is like a whole car length in front of the line blocking your view. Many times I've been set up to turn right, and then just as I inch out to where I can see past the vehicle on my left, they move forward into the crosswalk and block my view. My theory is that they have terrible situational awareness and their brains are on autopilot and automatically go, "Oh, I should move forward," when they see any movement of other cars in their peripheral vision. Walk super close to the front of their car. When you get in front of their car, pretend you're stepping over something large, keep walking but turn back and look at it. The driver will think there's something there. I mean, there is something there. A crosswalk. The solution is to climb over their car, or go in one side and out the other. They'll soon get the message. I once saw a guy creep through the entire red light. At no point did he decide to just go. He just kept on creeping until he was on the other side. Did you hear cartoon xylophone sneaking sounds the whole time? Be very quiet. I'm wanting wed whites. So he basically passed the red light, but slower? The traffic on that intersection must have been non-existent for him to pull that off without getting T-boned or honked to oblivion. It was in a rural area. Hardly any traffic. Rural traffic lights should be stop signs or roundabouts. Change my mind. Edit. I appreciated everyone, but please stop changing my mind. I have like 250 replies. Do what you want. I won't. My city has put in a lot of roundabouts that were once four-way stops, and they are so much quicker and safer to negotiate. Except when half the idiots in your town don't know what a yield sign means or don't know that you shouldn't stop in the roundabout. Turn signals should be used when exiting roundabouts, not the brakes. Because the person in front of me did it. It's like yawning. Thanks for the free yawn, King Stranger. Edit. Kind sorry, I'm bad at typing help. Now I'm yawning. Thanks y'all. I purposefully don't creep up like that, so that one person can look back and feel stupid. If it doesn't help the traffic situation, I'm not moving. Same. I just stand still, watch them move and move for no reason. I hate it because when there's like 15 feet between you and the car in front of you, suddenly you look like the moron who doesn't know how to stop at a reasonable distance. But I'm not putting extra wear on my brakes by creeping forward. I just won't. Same here. Only time I will move forward in those circumstances is if it will open up room for people to get into the lane next to me, etc. Yeah, but the guy in front of you is an energy vampire. This is the answer. Sometimes if I'm bored, I'll keep creeping forward a couple of inches just to see if the car behind me does. It never fails. Personally, if the person creeps up past the line, I will follow, until the line. Mostly because I'm not sure where the sensors are, and I want it to still detect a car there so that it will change the light. Obviously not all lights are by sensors, but it's hard to tell with being at that light a lot. I drive a bus, so I have mirrors on the hood so I can see where the line is in relation to my front end. I can be right on the line as a result. Child sleeping in car. Must not stop motion. This is the most legit reason in this whole comment section. New parent, can confirm. Old parent, can also confirm. Child, can also confirm. Average parent, can confirm. Child with motion sickness, cannot confirm. Same. Agreed, I totally get it. The baby does not like red lights. Yup. I have a 2-month-old that will scream her face off if I'm stopped for more than a few seconds. I get instantly nauseated if I don't feel the subtle jolt of a stop. Oh. I've spent years perfecting the seamless stop. Generally there's not even the tiniest jolt and I'm very proud of it, lol. I've been chill about speeders and reckless drivers ever since I realized that some of those people, maybe even just one, might really need to get somewhere as quickly as they possibly can. I used to actively try to block them from pulling whatever dick move they were leaning toward. Now I just get out of the way. Thanks to you, I finally have a reason to not look at people who creep up at stoplights like they've just crapped their pants standing up. They might have a little motion-hungry nugget strapped in that car. Thanks. Edit. I just want to clarify that I never try to stop people from driving lawfully. My city is notorious for crafty drivers, and my usual move was to simply merge over when I saw someone gaining up at twice the posted speed limit. Also, if someone is signaling at you, get the F out of their way. This is just a good way to live. If you frame the actions of others as if there were external circumstances you're unaware of, it makes people's crappy behaviors a lot more tolerable. Obviously, don't let yourself get abused, but it helps tremendously with maintaining a good mood and feeling better about others. My friends ask me how I'm such a patient driver and don't have any road rage. It's because I treat all drivers like tourists. If they are doing something stupid or driving too slow, I assume they are unfamiliar with the area and are just trying to figure it out with their family in the back seat. Precisely. If you're screaming in your car over someone cutting you off, you're usually the only person who's suffering. The other person doesn't even know you're upset and you're effectively just making yourself angry. When my son was an infant, he had a seizure while I was at the gym and the wife was home with him. She called pretty frantically, and I headed home in a hurry, but not recklessly, so I could either stay home with our other child or ride with my son in the ambulance. I was only about 10 minutes from the house. I turned on my hazard lights and flashed a couple times as I moved through traffic. Most people moved out of the way, but this one woman was determined to block me in. She saw me coming, moved over in the left lane. There was another car just ahead of her in the right, matched speeds with the car beside her and refused to move over after flashing in a couple honks. The car beside her saw what was going on and motioned for me to pass as they slowed down, but by that time I had missed getting through an intersection with a light. That, too, changed my whole approach about people who seem to be in a hurry. Now I just assume they have some sort of emergency like I experienced that day, and I'm more than happy to move over or pull to the side so they can continue on. Not moving over when a driver is signaling at you is really effing rude. I'm sorry that happened to you and I hope your son is doing well. Thanks. He was actually septic from a bad UTI which led to a whole host of other tests and discovery of another medical issue, but thankfully he's very healthy and happy now. It was a scary time for our whole family. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.